Hello, students. Welcome to English class. I'm your English teacher, Mr. Oza, and it's time for us to work on classwork number 85 today. The novel we're reading in term 4 is Siddhartha, and the author of this novel is Mr. Hermann Hesse. Today we look at chapter 11, which is called Om. And this is chapter 11 out of 12, so this is the second to last chapter in the novel. Same directions as the rest of the unit. Thank you for doing your predictions and questions, and thank you for watching this video. After this video is done, you're going to read the chapter. If you're in class with me, then you have a copy of the book. Otherwise, you have a copy of the PDF linked into your Google Doc. Then you've got two main ideas to write about that chapter. You're going to write your own questions about that chapter, 2 of them to be exact, and of course you're going to answer your own questions. Then you're going to do an open response. Please make sure to use at least one quote from the novel or any other source when you're doing that open response. So here we go. The first picture, as we preview this chapter, has the word karma. Now, you may or may not know what that means, but let me do my best to kind of explain a simple version of it. So, if you think back to the last chapter, the most recent thing to happen was Siddhartha's son basically ran away from home. Siddhartha's son, about 10 years old, ran away and abandoned his father. And Siddhartha feels obviously very sad about this, but why do we have karma come into the picture? Well, if you remember all the way back to chapter 1, we met Siddhartha's father. And Siddhartha's father really didn't want to let his son go on this epic adventure all across the jungle and to go see the Buddha, join the samanas, go to the big city, cross the river, and all of that. And Siddhartha's father eventually was like, okay, you know what, son, you're a man now. You can go on this adventure. And so even though Siddhartha was roughly 18 at the time, and now the son of Siddhartha is, we estimated in class he's like 10 years old, it is the same thing happening. Yes, that age difference does, matter, but some might argue that this is some karma coming back to bite Siddhartha. He left his father. He also promised that he would come back and tell him about his journey and teach him what he learned with the samanas. And he never did that. And now we can assume that Siddhartha's father is no longer with us. Just based on age alone, Siddhartha is up in his 60s now. And so he never went and returned to his father after leaving his father and his mother too, for that matter. And you could say this is some karma coming back to bite Siddhartha. Karma basically means like you want to treat other people the way that you want to be treated. Whatever vibes you put out there into the universe, you're going to get those same vibes back. One interesting moment in the chapter is when Siddhartha is here sitting by the river, and he's basically just looking into the river, and he sees his reflection in the water, and he also sees a bunch of other stuff. I won't give it away. It's kind of just an interesting little detail in the story, maybe some symbolism here, maybe some deeper meaning here. But when he looks into the river, he starts seeing some visions. He starts seeing things. What does he see in that river? Again, you read the chapter, you tell me what he sees in the river, and I think it's pretty interesting and perhaps symbolic. Last picture here is Vasudeva, the ferryman, or El Barquero. He is getting very old now. Siddhartha is in his 60s now, which means Vasudeva might be in his 80s or even his 90s. And so, Vasudeva is like really slowing down, not doing a lot of work with the ferry anymore, bringing people across the ocean, or the river, I should say, is more Siddhartha's responsibility now. And so Vasudeva, I'll let you, again, read the chapter and come to the conclusion, but, the mentor character, he's getting old and he's not doing so great here at the end of the chapter. So now that we've done a nice little preview for the chapter, it's time for you to read it. As you're reading it or after you're reading it, after you're done reading it, please make sure that you write down your two main ideas in the document, whatever stood out to you. And then you're going to write your own questions. You've got your own creativity here. Level 1 question, a level 2 question, and then don't forget to answer them. If you need any help on creating your own questions, there is another video that is linked into your Google Doc, which has to do with creating these level 1 and level 2 questions. Okay. Next up is to do your open response. Remember, you got a rubric there. I want you to look at the rubric and just follow those instructions there. Whoops. Read the prompts and use a quote from the novel or anywhere else in the world, whether you're using a quote from the novel or any other related thing that you've read or seen on TV or movie that you've watched or something like that. Please make sure that you're bringing in some evidence from somewhere to support your answer in the open response. One more chapter left, everybody. So this is chapter 11. After today, we move on to chapter 12. We'll do that tomorrow, and that's the final chapter. I hope you find this book interesting, and as always, let me know if you need any help. Hope you have a great class.